Hey everybody, it's Antiswipe again. I wanted to bring a update video for the build. Appreciate everybody who has liked and commented on the previous one. We have made a lot of changes, and I say a lot of changes, I mean, once I got to T7 maps and started getting into T15, the damage seemed to be not as good. So I moved over to a crit version of the build, which I'm going to showcase here in just a moment. We can't get a whole lot of crit multi, at least with the current points that we have in the tree. I'm going to showcase the map now. But essentially we went for a set crit multi with Malagaro's Virtuosity, and then got some crit on our crossbow, which honestly, my crossbow is a little insane. But anyway, let's go ahead and start the map. So decided to go crit because the damage potential for crit is a whole lot higher than there is for just regular damage. Plus with the lightning rod changes for this new release, it doesn't just apply to non-crits, it applies 30% of the time to all lightning damage. So it was very, very good. Or it's very good for us. So increased monster life, additional shrines, rares, and I think they poison on hit. Yeah, they poison on hit. So I'll showcase just a little bit of the damage. We still have all the links that we have in for Galvanic Shards, but Shockburst Rounds has pinpoint critical, because pinpoint critical's downside is 30% less damage with 30% less damage with or less critical damage. And so what I'm doing is I don't care about that because of Virtuosity, the gloves, because it's always set at 300% crit multi. And so I just get the upside, which is 60% more critical strike chance for Shockburst rounds. As you can see, damage is pretty good. We're in a T15 +1 area and melting pretty much everything. We don't even have to use Shockburst rounds on rares very often. We do have Sandstorm Visage as a way to boost our single target damage, because it increases our flat crit chance the longer that we're in their presence. And so I've been running Ritual and Strongbox nodes. Not Strong. Well, yeah, Strongbox, Ritual, and Shrines on my Atlas tree. Well, Ritual not on the Atlas tree, but Strongboxes and Shrines on the Atlas tree with Waystone chance and tablet effect. Anyway, build is super smooth. The only thing that we're lacking right now is defenses, which I will be improving over the next few days, probably the next week. Most of the damage that comes from this is coming from the crit. The crit and the crit damage is really, really helpful. I think my damage went from like 6,000 maybe, or 5,000, and then once I got enough crit, went up to 10 or 11 now. Well, 11 is probably from the bonus. Yeah, 11.8 or 0.08. And so yeah, as you can see, it's breezing through maps. There are some people that are doing I think Amazon Lightning Strike, which is a faster mapper, but I wanted a little bit of defensive, or at least more quality of life on my build, going with Pathfinder. We will go ahead and move over to a boss kill. Okay, I am slotting in. I have a single target lasting shock, so I don't have to use fork. I'm slotting that in as my 6th link because I want the shock to last a lot longer. I got to 87% shock effectiveness. And just FYI, that's with 69% more monster life. Nice. So with the changes to the skills, or with the change to crit, there are some changes to the skill setup. There are some questionable choices I've made with this because of attack speed constraints. I didn't have attack speed on my crossbow, so I went ahead and used martial tempo in Galvanic Shards. This is probably not the best option unless you're willing to also swap it in for like close combat. Put martial tempo in for close combat. I think that's a better play just because it's a little faster and the damage is better. But Galvanic Shards with overcharge. So with this, I selected immune to shock as my last ascendancy point. And so because of that, we just get 50% more magnitude of shocks with Galvanic Shards. Conduction for more shock chance. Lightning Infusion for more lightning damage. Martial Tempo for attack speed. Like I said, you can swap this out for close combat if you have enough attack speed. Fork for our clear. And then we swap in Lasting Shock in place of Fork whenever we are bossing. Or, only bossing. I wouldn't swap it in just for a rare. For Shock Burst rounds, like I said earlier, we were using Pinpoint Critical for more critical hit chance, less critical damage bonus. In this case, because we're using Malagaro's Virtuosity, and this makes our crit damage bonus always 300%, this has no downside. Fresh Clip for more damage as long as we're reloading. Primal Armament for more weapon elemental damage. Elemental Focus because we can't inflict ailments on it with it anyway. And then Close Combat or Martial Tempo if you swap that in. Kesson Shock setup, I got another Greater's Jeweler's Orb, so I added in energy retention, but on the build guide, it's Voltaic Mark, Impetus, and Magnified Effect. I may have added in energy retention, but this helps a little bit more with getting more consistent cast on shocks deployed. That's up to you, though. This is not required. Herald of Thunder, Innervate, Electrocute, Long Shot, and Lightning Mastery. This is not required, but it's been a little helpful just to have Herald of Thunder do a little bit more damage. Electrocute is also not required, but it does help whenever you're hitting a rare with the lightning bolts from Herald of Thunder. I've seen a lot of rares or a lot of mobs that are tankier receive Electrocute, which just immobilizes them. It's pretty great. Wind Dancer with Blind, Maim, and Pin. Pin is good, but I don't think this is required. These two are very, very helpful though. Emergency Reload, which I barely ever use, is Premeditation and Ingenuity. The reason I barely ever use it is just because I forget about it. If you're lacking damage, Emergency Reload, very, very good to use. And then I've added in Overwhelming Presence in place of using a companion because I needed to upgrade my armor with more resistances. And Overwhelming Presence is level 13. There aren't really any support gems you can use to improve this at all besides ones that are for like normal auras, like accuracy or vitality. So those are the skills. Now onto the gear. I have to say my crossbow is unethical. I was able to get a pretty insane fizz damage crossbow. I believe it's like 760 PDPS with 9.4 crit chance. And the life per enemy hit is not a dead stat. I think this goes for something like 15 div. No, I think the life per enemy hit's not there. Actually, even more than that, 23 divine. So very good crossbow. If you can stick with fizz damage, if you can't stick with fizz damage, try to go for flat cold or flat lightning, flat cold, and a lot of elemental damage with attacks. The reason why you would do that instead of physical damage is if you have a bunch of flat damage on your rings, which I do not. My rings are actually kind of bad. Moving on to the helmet, I use Sandstorm Visage because of the critical weakness that occurs on bosses or on any enemy in my presence for 15 seconds. This gets the crit weakness or the base crit chance, I think, up to 7.5%, which means I think with my current setup, I'm at 100% chance to crit with shock burst rounds if I've lasted 15 seconds in the fight. But normally the boss is dead by then. Slip Strike Vest, a lot of evasion rating. I didn't go for the highest evasion rating I could, just because I didn't have the funds. Got a high life roll or medium life roll. Tri-res with a lot of res. I needed the res really badly. My fire and lightning are barely capped, and cold is overcapped. I would even recommend getting Chaos Res here instead of one of the other reses, just because Chaos Res, I'm really having a hard time capping that in maps. Like I said before, using Virtuosity so that we can get that crit damage bonus up to a solid amount without having to invest into it. If you can invest into it, or you do have a lot of gear that has crit damage bonus, and you're able to get higher than 300%, you can of course change the tree and add in crit damage bonus here, And I want to say technically crit damage bonus here, but the reduced attack speed is so bad. You can really feel it. So belt, I'm still using the same belt I had before. It's kind of hard to replace because the +2 charm slots are really nice, but lots of flat life, +2 charm slots, and cold res. Everything else can be replaced. My rings, pretty standard rings, simple rings, life, lightning res, chaos res with a resistance implicit. Strength, we need a lot of strength for the build, like 100, 120 for a level 19. Or is it level 19? No, it's level 13, overwhelming presence. Plus we need strength to wield our crossbow and to use our skills, our crossbow skills, and then lightning resistance. And then the rarity was just pretty nice. The 176 mana or 178 mana is not bad. It actually does help because once you get your skills up to like level 20 or level 19 or 20, they get to be pretty high mana cost. So this is no slouch. And this is where I get most of my spirit, or all of my spirit. I get 58 spirit from the amulet. The increased armor doesn't really help us. All attributes and intelligence with a little bit of fire res. I think I've kept this for a while, and I've anointed Careful Assassin, which is crit chance with reduced crit damage bonus. This has no downside for me, just the upside. And then boots are 25 movement speed. These can really be replaced. These are just high evasion rating and 1 res with some movement speed. I mean, it's like whatever. The chill duration doesn't hurt me at all because we're not affected by chill, or at least we're not affected by the slow of chill. So these boots really can get replaced at any time, and I will replace them soon. For charms, because we went immune to shock here, I'm using freeze immune or immunity to freeze charm with gold charm just for the extra rarity, and amethyst charm because it helps to improve our chaos res, right? Which right now with this and the 29%, we're sitting at 47%. And back to the tree. So the tree that I have now is we removed some of the evasion rating. I don't know if I had called this out in the video because I think by the time that the first video was released, I was only like tier 7 or tier 6 maps. But I removed all the evasion rating. I removed 2 points here from evasion. I kept in Falcon Technique. This is good, but it's only good because I need 6 more decks, but it's only good when you have something like 175 decks or more. Even then, it's kind of questionable. The points leading up to it are kind of nice. 6% plus the extra per decks. This is, I had taken this out before and it felt okay, but then I got to a point where I was losing reload speed because I removed this here and took this instead, and I lost out on 40% reload speed, which did feel a little bit bad. So the attack speed does help with reload speed. What else is different? Went for the crit nodes here, crit damage bonus, which doesn't help us, but this 20% crit hit chance is very nice. All of this is crit hit chance, except for the crit damage bonus at the beginning. This is super important for the extra base crit. What else has changed? I went for Marked for Death, which is Calling Strike against enemies you mark, as well as increased effect of my mark. That gets us up to 87% shock chance or shock magnitude, which improves the damage of the build. I think without this, it's at like 78%. So take that as you will. It's not required, obviously, but I had the extra points, so go for it. And then we went for crit hit chance here, as well as magnitude for crits, which is actually really helpful. And I think all of this is crit hit chance. Yes. Went for Giant Slayer to increase the damage against rares and uniques, and then went for the crossbow wheel for increased damage for ammunition fired, and then crit hit chance down here for crossbows. And then obviously not consume a bolt is helpful. I think everything else is the same. And then Atlas tree. My tree is wonky. I wouldn't copy it 1 for 1, but it is pretty good. Went this way for Waystones. I had originally gone for Rogue Exiles, and it was okay, but now I'm kind of over it because they're not dropping. They didn't have as many uniques as I was expecting them to have. Went for tablet effect, shrines, strong boxes. I didn't go for this because I don't really care about what the strong boxes spawn. And I didn't go for this because I didn't care about the packs that were around the shrines. And then I went for ecological shift so that I could get extra content in the map. I've also finished 2 Audience with the Kings. I originally went for the Audience with the King He Approaches mode, and that was good, but I didn't see an uptick in audiences very often. So I got rid of it. I got rid of both. And then I went for re-rolling favors and reduced, the deferred favors occur sooner. And then for the boss points, I went for quantity of items dropped by map bosses, which does improve the chances for you to get multiple waystones. Went for quantity of waystones as well from map bosses, and then additional shrine in areas where there is a map boss. I will be going up here for map bosses have an additional level, and I think I'll have another 2 points, which I will likely grab the rarity from map bosses. That is the build. That is the build update. So appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will catch you in the next video. I may release another update video once I've perfected the build fully and I've gotten enough points in the Atlas tree. So stay tuned for that. Until then, have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.